Buenos dias. How the heck are ya? All right, welcome back to Promontory Decking Headquarters, episode 12 now. It's a Sunday. Yesterday I had a wonderful day romping around the Ocean Beach Street Fair. Got to see Kyle and Nate playing in the Kyle Merrill Band. And a bunch of old Brothers Gal fans and friends and family, and watching Elliot dance in the crowd to some Kyle Merrill songs was emotional. I look back on those years playing in the band like very fondly, and I remember. I mean, a lot of it's a blur, but it was a wonderful time in my life, and I remember those years playing in the band and playing those songs, and I'll be honest, like I miss that. I miss playing in the band. I miss playing with those guys, hanging out with them every day. But excuse me. We are on a mission. We are here to build a deck company that's going to be operating 20 years from now. And that means that we have to build a strong foundation. So I'm going to touch on a couple things that are happening, what's coming up this week, and then like logistic stuff. It's just a reality that we have to face. We have to figure out. So, if you've been paying attention to the shorts on my channel, you've noticed that we haven't done a whole lot of decking stuff. That's because we have my van, Betty Blue, that really needs to get fixed to get back on the road. It was making a terrible noise from the rear end, and I've got this squealing sound coming from what I've found out is like inside the bell housing. So the drive shaft bearing, I think it's a bearing or a bushing or something, is really loose and wiggly, and so I have to go get a bunch of parts for this van, but I'm not quite done diagnosing all the things that it needs, and I don't want to make multiple trips, so I want to make sure that I have everything I need to get that girl back on the road. So a lot of the shorts content has been about me trying to get this van back on the road because it's what holds all my tools, and without Betty Blue in operation, it makes me have to drive my big truck, Birdie, and that old girl gets like 7 miles to the gallon. Now, I understand that an old crew cab, long bed F-350 is a little overkill for what we do, but every now and then, I need all of her capacity, and I'm always glad to have it when I need it. But driving the big truck around is what keeps me poor. But I love that truck and I'll never sell it. And I'm going to have it forever. But it's not very economical driving that around as a daily. But not like Betty Blue is much better. But she is a little bit better on gas and fuel. And when I fill her up with 40 gallons of fuel, she can pretty much last me the whole week, which is nice. So the biggest thing that we need to do today is to get Betty Blue back on the road. And then coming up this week, we have a friend of mine hit me up for a small repair on a small deck issue in his backyard. And we're going to zip zap that back together real easy. There's like a missing chunk out of it there where there used to be a slide. and he wants to just chip golf balls off of his deck. And the slide has been removed from where the deck used to be. So we're just going to patch in some joists and some deck boards, and he's going to end up throwing a chipping mat right over the top of it. So it doesn't need to be anything fancy. And like I said, this is not glamorous. This is just getting a couple bucks coming in the door and getting ourselves ready to start mobilizing. Little update on the South Park project. I want to be careful about how I talk about this project because it has been a major source of stress for me. And I have battled internally in my mind, mentally, with how I make everybody happy. And it's almost impossible in this scenario. And like I said in the last episode, we are going to have almost an entire episode dedicated to this job down the line. But my clients at this job reached out and said, "Hey, we want to finish this project. We're just really tight on funds." And I sent them a price for what it was going to cost to finish the job after they got back from this vacation, and they shopped me, and they're like, we're going to try and figure out if we can find another deck company to do it cheaper. And what I don't think they understand is that, like, we all of us deck builders, like, talk to each other, and we support each other, and we learn from each other. Now, I'm not saying that, like, other deck companies are looking at me trying to figure out what they can learn from me because I'm such a new player in the space. But it's very hard to go into a project that's already been worked on and then try and put your name on it, put your trust on it, understand, like, what has gotten done, and then, like, a lot of times it's like too risky to just jump into an old project and be like, yep, Promontory did that. Because at the end of the day, you are your work. Your word and your reputation are contingent on how well you handle the job. And I don't think they found anybody who wants to, like, pick up where they were left off, especially for, like, a price that they want to pay. But I think there's a little bit of an issue with them trying to figure out how to finish this job and what it actually costs. The price of labor, with taxes and workers' comp and insurance and all that stuff, like, labor is expensive here in California, and there's just no way around it. I mean, there is a way around it, and a lot of people operate that way, but that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to be everything above board. We don't want to look over our shoulders or worry about OSHA or worry about, doing anything, that's kind of black hat. We're trying to be legitimate, and that means that we have overhead. We have prices that, like, our price is our price. We can't really go lower than that because then the business isn't making money. And I'm not a businessman, but if the business ain't making money, it's not really a business. And so we got to figure out a way to come to the table with these clients and figure out what does complete look like for you back here. Let's define that, because judging on how this job has gone already, the work could just keep going and change order after change order after change order. And there's just there's a lot that they want to do back there, but there's not a lot of budget for the things they want to do back there. And so let me just put it this way. When we built their deck, we were originally hired to just build their deck. And then we were a little unsure about what our timelines were going to be. They were pulling permits. We were dealing with the permitting office. And if anybody's done any sort of construction work in California, you understand how bureaucratic and like bottlenecky that whole process can be. Plus organizing like all the different trades that needed to come in. For example, the hydro excavators and the concrete trucks and us and coordinating inspections. And so it's been quite a bear to get to this point with them. And the designs have changed every week. Like, oh, by the way, we're going to do the stairs like this. Oh, by the way, we're going to change the framing so that we can accommodate a future stair set that we're not going to build right now. Oh, by the way, we're going to be using this product with these clips, and it don't make no sense. And there's a lot of issues that I've had with this, with the designer and the homeowners about like, look, I understand that on paper, this looks good to you on paper, but in the real world, and as a deck builder, we have ways of doing things that may not like correspond with how it's written up or drawn up on a computer program. And sometimes in the real world, you have to make changes and modifications to how things are designed versus in the real world, how they're going to actually work and look. And you have other elements like there's this existing deck on their property, and it's wavy and it's old and it's 30 years. And we spent a long time underneath that old existing deck, jacking it up, leveling it, getting new posts in, adding new brackets and hardware to get this thing like reinforced. And all of this is in an effort to like save this 30-year-old deck because they think it's going to save them money to keep this old structure. And at this point in the game, it almost would have been cheaper to just rip it all out and do it again. But this is where they think they understand what it's like to run this project and be the project managers and manage all this kind of stuff and hire my company to come in and do the things that they want to have done instead of allowing us to have the control over the project. Let us do what we do, and we will deliver the thing that you want. But it doesn't work like that all the time. And as I'm trying to build this company, I'm battling with how to have that balance of being like okay and easy to work with and amicable, but then also like having standards and laying the ground rules and boundaries about, no, this is how we operate. And we're not going to do X, Y, and Z that way. We're going to do it our way. Because that's the only way that we can control our quality and our end product. So this week we've got to come to an agreement with them. We've got to figure out, and that's probably going to mean dropping my price a little bit just to get this job finished. I would hate to have worked for these people for 5 months, doing all this stuff for them, only to send it off to Joe in a truck because he undercut my price by a few $1,000, and then not get the after photos and after videos of all the work that we've done because I have a phone hard drive worth of projects and videos of us installing this, working on this project. And I've got this internal battle in my head. Like, do we just walk? Do we just hold firm at our price? And if they don't do it, if they don't bite on that price, then we just say, thank you for giving us the opportunity. We wish you the best of luck to finish this project, but we can't go any lower than this? Or do I come down on price a little bit and find a way to make them happy? At the end of the day, they're going to have this beautiful new outdoor space that they're never going to have to work on. These are a little bit older clients. Everything we're building there is going to long last their time on this planet. And it's going to look good for a long time past their time on this planet. One of the things that they wanted to do was I sent them over like a scope breakdown of everything that we have to do to finish up, in my mind, for their backyard. And they nitpicked a few of those phases. And one of the things that they said they could go without was like, we don't necessarily need to do the handrail or the deck boards on the staircase on the south side of the building. And, what is it going to look like if we don't do that? What's the price for that? And here's the thing is, I can't build you a staircase with like 12 steps without a handrail. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to deliver an unfinished project if it's against code because you want to save a couple bucks. I'd rather just install that stupid handrail system that you have so that at the end of the day, I know that these folks are pushing 70. As you walk down those steps, you're not going to fall down to your death and crack your head on the bottom because you didn't have a handrail to hold on to. We need to think about what that entails for our business. So I'm kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place with them because, and here it is again. I send them my price to finish it out, and then they say, okay, we'd love to see that. And then a couple days later, they say, oh, wait, let's hold off on that. We're going to change some more designs. Again. The design is changing. Again. So what do I do? Do I just don't know what to do. But I want this project behind me. I want to be done with it so that I can focus on other stuff. But I don't feel good about how this whole job has gone, It's got a real bad taste in my mouth. And we've really tried hard to deliver. And I don't think this will be the last project like this. And I've had other projects like this in the past that you just have to suck it up and finish the job and move on. So, moving on, what does that look like for promontory decking? Let's just say that we get this job away. It's always hard to really figure out what my game plan is on a Sunday because Monday rolls around and then all the emails start popping in and you've got to kind of work on the fly to make it all happen. The good thing that we have going for us is that we don't have to worry about anything clerical. All of our essentials are in place for the business. And, on a couple of the last episodes, we touched on marketing. We're trying to figure out how are we going to market this? How are we going to start getting that phone to ring? How are we going to get the website forms filled out, funneling people towards our website? And if you haven't checked out my website yet, it's www.promontorydecking.com. And I need your help. I need your pointers on it because I'm just a goofball building a website on Squarespace and trying to make it look as professional as possible. And it's not my strong suit. So I need your guidance. So please, if you can, take a look at my website and come into the comment section and say, hey, I want to see X, Y, and Z here on your homepage. Or, I've had some friends and peers check it out on like Facebook and stuff, and they've given me some really good pointers. And I'll have some help with my brother, who's like really good with computers, the opposite of me. And he's willing to help and figure out, but he really needs some direction from me in order to do what he does. So this week we're going to just start by getting this little patch repair. We need to get right after this episode. I'm going out to work on Betty Blue, and there'll be some more van content. And the thing about this van is just the things that I'm putting on this channel. This is what it takes for me to run this business. And the logistics of it all fall solely on my shoulders. If that van's not running, then that means that I've got to take apart my system with all of my tools, where everything goes where it's supposed to go inside that van, shuffle it all up, get it into the boxes of my truck, drive that expensive truck towards the job, and then everything is discombobulated and out of my normal operating system. So I got to get this blue van back on the road, and it's going to feel really good to just get to a point where I trust everything about it. And so logistics, they're real, and we got to deal with them. So thank you guys for paying attention, and we will see you on the next one. I love you. Thank you.